Hello everyone, Wolfie here, and welcome to another installment of Wolfie Reviews. This is a really crappy name, it's the best I got. Oh well, I'll change the name in the video, I'll change the name in the actual posted name if I ever come up with anything that's actually better. Anyway, up until then, welcome. Today I will be reviewing a game that I have not recorded me playing, but have played. Actually, no, I haven't played this one this much. Tales of Xillia, or Xillia. I have no idea how to pronounce that last word, actually. To be completely honest, I have no idea how to pronounce it. I've heard it pronounced different ways. So I'm going to be saying Tales of Xillia, because it sounds the best to me. So anyway, Tales of Xillia. I am an avid fan of the Tales series. And this is the most recent installment of the Tales series that's on the consoles, which is the only ones I can get. They are coming out with Tales of Xillia 2 and Tales of Zestiria, I believe, is the other one. Zestiria is going to be returning back to the more fantasy version, or fantasy world. But Tales of Xillia, it's a pretty good game. Not as good as Symphonia, but a little biased on that. Anyway, on to Tales of Xillia. Summary of this game. Well, I don't know how to summarize this without spoiling the entire story. Basically, it is about a guy named Jude who goes with a woman named Mila. Is that how pronouncing this? M-I-L-L-A? Yeah. Mia? Well, that's how you would say it in Spanish. Definitely. I think they say Mila. I think they say Mila. I believe. It's been a while since I've actually played this. I forgot the pronunciations of some of these characters. My bad. Anyway, Mila Maxwell. Mila. It is Mila. He goes around with her to save the world from this horrible weapon that drains the world of mana, I believe is what they call this. They change it almost every installment. It varies. Sometimes it's the same, but they vary it often. So anyway, that's basically the gist of the first half of the game. Second half of the game, almost the same, only Jude's a little more better. I'll talk about that later. These reviews will have plenty of spoiler alerts. I'm sorry about that, but it's a review. I have to talk about the game, and I can't exactly talk about the game without spoiling. So there's your spoiler alert. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. So Jude goes with Mila and goes to various places, solving various problems. Your typical RPG style game, but and once again, I'm using the wiki. I'm going to keep using the wiki because it has all the information, or all the pictures I need to show you people for you to actually enjoy this. So anyway, what was I saying? Alright. In the second half of the game, they go to try to figure out how to save two different worlds at the same time. Story very similar to Symphonia, which is maybe why I'm a little... I don't know the word, but I compare it to Symphonia a little more. So, anyway, say hi.
Hey.
There's Aleppo. And he has to go, so... Anyway, story-wise, I guess I should start talking about the story. The story starts out with Jude, a medical student, seeing this woman named Mila, who claims to be Maxwell, this kind of ultimate god character. She does control the four summoned spirits, so it does lend evidence to the fact that she is. So he runs into her, and he kind of runs into a lot of trouble because he goes down and actually follows her to the ultimate weapon I was referring to earlier. And that leads him to get in kind of trouble, but instead of actually staying with he leaves the medical school and goes on to, he kind of pretty much, no one even remembers, but he goes on with her because he wants to, I guess he wants to save the world, or I'm not entirely sure what he's after with this. He isn't sure either. He Jude in the first half of the game has no idea why he's following Mila. She's constantly asking him, "Why are you doing this? Why do you do that? Why did you do that?" So they're constantly questioning each other, or they're constantly questioning him because he has no like resolve. But that's in the character. I didn't do much into the character. So he just goes around with her, and then they don't manage to destroy the weapon. They do manage to steal the key for the weapon. Why they use a freaking key for a weapon, I'll never understand. But never use a key for a weapon. That's just bad. They don't manage to do that. Mila dies, and I can't, for the life of me, remember how. It upsets me that I can't remember this stuff. This is the most recent one I've played, too. Don't know why I can't remember it. Anyway, I can still review this really well because I remember the characters, and when I get to that last one, I'm going to have a lot of fun because I love him. He's my favorite character in this game. Anyway, Mila comes back, and then they go and try to find a way to save both worlds because one world is using up mana like a moda poopa, and they're trying to steal mana from their world because the people of the other world cannot produce mana. They don't have a frontal lobe thing called a I can't remember what it's called. They don't have a frontal lobe thingy. And so they go and try to actually find a way to make it so that both worlds can coincide together and actually work. Well, again, sounds so much like Symphonia, which is why I compare it so much and why I'm kind of disappointed. This game's not as good as Symphonia, in my opinion. I do like the combat system, though. I will have fun when I get to that. Alright, so story-wise, I give it a 7 because I can't help but compare it to Symphonia. All the other ones I don't compare to Symphonia because they don't have the dual world. Guy kind of gets willingly dragged into saving the world, so there's a lot of parallels that I see. So I compare them, and seeing as Symphonia was the one that I put over 700 hours into, I kind of love that one. I love the story. That thing's 10 out of 10. I will do a review of that one later, and you already know the scores. But you'll see why, in my opinion, I think it's so amazing. Alright, let's talk about the characters, which I honestly do quite enjoy the characters. The characters are pretty well designed. This is Jude, our medical student. That is what he wears the entire game. He is unique, and this is what gives him high marks for me, is he's unique. And the fact that he is one of the few Tales characters that I know of, and I know Abyss, and then Symphonia onwards. I don't know Hearts, because that's not console. I know the console ones from Abyss on. And they all use swords, except Jude. Jude here is a hand-to-hand martial artist, and he is actually really fun to fight as. He's actually my favorite to fight as, but he's not my favorite character, because for the first half of the game, he has no resolve. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just doing it to do it. Well, he's doing it, it's kind of a love interest, like, ooh, I want to try to impress this chick, and he ends up failing at that horribly, and she dies, and yeah, not very good. Not good at all. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. Jude is designed pretty well in the fact that he does have a costume change in the very beginning of the game. He starts out in actual medical student like outfit, but this is his day-to-day clothing. He's pretty well designed in the fact of he actually has emotion, or like he does show emotions, he does show anger, he shows sympathy, which I'll talk more about when I actually get to next to the last chick. You can see Elise. When I get to her, I'll talk more about that. So up till then, Jude, I actually like the design of his clothing because of how it's. I would like to say it's symmetrical, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. It looks symmetrical, or yeah, symmetrical, I guess. I don't know. It's really pretty clothing. I don't know what weapon that is actually. That is actually a weapon inside the game. I don't know what it is because I don't memorize weapon names. His eye color is interesting. I mean, just the design of the character itself and the look is actually really pretty to look at. It's aesthetically pleasing, is my point here. Much more than I am. I know. I'm not that pretty to look at. So, with that, I mean, his personality is a little bland compared to other Tales characters, which brings this game down a little more. I mean, he is actually really great. So, I mean, I don't know how to put... Like, once he gets the resolve, it's just like, this is a totally different character. He's extremely awesome. He actually has a purpose in life. He actually starts becoming the kind of idealist person that you want to see as a leader of a group, which is what he is, because he's the main character. He's, well, the male main character. He's the hero. He's not the heroine. Heroine's next. And actually, I'm out of things to talk about with Jude. Kind of bland until the second act, and that's when he gets awesome, because he actually starts getting really into justice and all this stuff into the game, and it's really interesting to watch the change. That's why I like this game and the story of the characters, is because Jude undergoes a change. Mila starts out, I know what I'm doing, I know how I'm going to do this, I know what my purpose is, and I know what I'm willing to sacrifice for it. Jude, however, is like, I don't know. And then he slowly gets to the point, he metamorphosizes. He goes from a caterpillar to a butterfly. Mila goes from a moth to a butterfly. Don't ask me how that works. I don't care. It's the point that comes across. This is the matter. Jude is honestly... He's the metamorphosis character. Other Tales games, the character's usually stuck in his way. He's idealistic or realistic in the case of Vesperia. And they just kind of stay that way, and they're that way the entire game. They're like, I know how things should be. Things should be this way. That seems the best way. Jude, however, is like, I don't know. He metamorphosizes into, this isn't right. This is wrong. We need to fix this. And that just makes his character amazing. On to Mila, the heroine of the story. Yeah, I know she's... Ugh. I can hear all the pumps from you guys. I guess I shouldn't make that joke. She is actually really pretty. I give her that. She is pretty. Can't remember who she said designed the outfit. It was chosen because she says throughout the entire time that that's not her real form. Her real form is that of a god, because she is Maxwell, the ultimate, the god of origin, or spirit of origin. My bad. You know, they're gods basically, so god of origin, spirit of origin, whatever, same thing. And she says she chose it for her because it's aesthetically pleasing to men. And I mean, my male viewers, are you gonna prove me wrong? I mean, she not aesthetically pleasing? She not cute, pretty, hot, beautiful, whatever you want to say? Except for the gay ones, I guess you could just say she does look good. I mean, it's an interesting style. I could sit here and talk about her clothing choice all day, but there's a point behind it in this story, because the next character I'll talk about, I'm just going to talk about these in order, because that's about all I can do. With the next character, because it provides a lot of sexual jokes that appear. She is the second character. You can choose to play as it. You do get a different opening based on which character you choose, and it's actually, they're distinctly different. Mila, like as Jude was the hand-to-hand master who has a very distinct fighting style of how you play as him. Mila is more like a spell sword from every other Tales game. There's always a spell sword in a Tales game. I'm running things to my head to make sure I'm right. I'm actually not sure. She's a spell sword is my point. She uses both melee and magic. However, her magic is also melee. She's any range you want her to be. She has the unique thing of spell shifting. She can go from casting fireball to doing, I can't remember what the other one is. I think it's a fire lance from the ground or something like that. I don't remember. I don't really use them that much. Anyway, she uses various attacks that change depending on how you use the circle button, which is the art button. That's what the moves are called in Tales, or art. She is just the resolute, I'm going to destroy the weapon, which is the weapon I was referring to earlier, even if it costs me my life. Ends up doing that, but it doesn't do any good. Not my memory. I think they destroy it, but the damage is done. I can't remember. It upsets me that I can't remember this stuff. Anyway, Mila is the resolute one, and as she's kind of like the hardcore, I don't know what this stuff is. She's the hardcore chick with the innocent attitude. Like, she doesn't know stuff. She's been cooped up in a temple, worshipped like a god for her entire life. She's about 20. Jude's 17, I believe. Yeah, I can see her age there. I don't think I could see Jude's. Jude's about 17, 18, something like that. She's a little older than Jude. She doesn't understand this, like, things like love and all that stuff, and she's rather naive, and it makes for an interesting... it's interesting how she reacts to situations. That's what makes her character the best, is because she's like the naive little girl, or naive person that doesn't know actually how the world works, because they've been sheltered their entire life. And given basically everything. So she often doesn't know mannerisms and stuff like that. She's often quick to use brute force, and honestly, it's just one of those things. And her character design is aesthetically pleasing, and her personality is a little rough at first, but it smooths out toward the end of the end of the game as Jude becomes more resolute. She softens a bit, and there's kind of a lovey-dovey thing going on. She learns more about the world and all that, how it works. And what she really is, and the fact that she may not be as special as she thinks she is. There's not that much I can talk about with her. I'll recycle back through these people to talk about the gameplay mechanics with them, because each character has a different gameplay mechanic, and I gotta remember how they work too. However, I should be able to do that. Alright, moving on to Alvin. Alvin. That's often all I can think of. He is the suave rogue, if you will, of the team. You never actually know what his intentions are, because he's often mysterious. You don't really know what he's up to. He often is, he's just shifty. His intentions and everything are revealed close to the end of Act 1, and fully revealed, near the end of Act 1 is when his full intentions are revealed, and everything like that is going on. Really, with his personality, when he's actually talking to the characters and everything, he's rather joking. He's the kind of the comic relief character, if you will, because he's a joke. He's just like constantly sarcastic and making jokes, and often making puns or some random thing like that. He's more casual. He makes a stressful situation casual. So that's that with him. Honestly, lose the scarf, and I think he'd look really great. He'd be the best looking character, in my opinion, if he lost the scarf. However, he's I'll talk about his weapons too, since I've been mentioning everyone's weapons. He's really unique in a way, in the fact that he uses a gun and a sword at the same time, and uses somewhat magical abilities based around that. He's actually one of the people who do not have the ability to use magic. There's really not much I can talk about with him because, I mean, he's kind of the suave rogue, and once you get to the second act, he's kind of like the older brother character. He becomes a lot more caring and all that. He's the older brother, basically, of the thing. If you look, I mean, if you kind of take it, Jude and Mila are like the mother and father. Alvin's the older brother of Jude. And then the next character is like the little sister. The next character after that's kind of like the daughter. And then the last character is the grandfather. I guess. Best way I can put it. Leia! Not much I can say about her. She is an energetic, bouncy girl who's often a klutz and often hurting herself in some form or fashion. But she's also a nurse, so she has some pretty good. She's pretty good in healing. She fights with a staff. Out of the ones that I've played, I cannot think of another character that actually fights with a staff that is not like a mage staff. So that's unique, I guess. I can't think of anyone. Nope, can't think of anyone. She has a crush on Jude, and that's about it. I never really used her, so I can't really say anything about her. I don't know much about her combat style. I don't know much about her because I almost never used her. She's like the sister. She's the I said little sister. That was wrong. She's the older sister of Jude, basically. She really cares about him. So you could take her as the crush that knows that they'll never have them, so they act like a sister type character. And she really cares about Jude and often worries about him, almost as much as his mother does. His father, on the other hand, let's not go there. We don't talk about them. I really can't talk about her that much because I never really used her. She just didn't fit in my playstyle. That's just me. Sorry. On to Elise, the most important character to have in your party. Actually, it's Elise and Tipo. Not just Elise, it's Elise and Tipo. You can't just have one without the other. Elise is a 12-year-old girl who you find near a forest, I believe. Oh well, who cares? She is really innocent and sweet. She's often really afraid and often really shy. Like I said, she's innocent. Tipo, she is the healer mage. She can dish out some damage, but she's also really important because she has all the healing magics. You think the nurse would have healing magics? Jude has some healing magics, but his are more I heal me, I heal you type thing. Elise is the one that heals. She is the healer. So she does that. And she also does some. She's like a black and white mage put together. I don't know what that is actually in Final Fantasy. I'm pretty sure that is something, but that's basically what she is. I believe she uses an umbrella. I believe. No, she uses a wand. She uses a wand, and she often plays, or she is a rather important character. Because of Tipo, who honestly, he's just so awesome. Tipo is a doll that can change its shape, or change its size. Can't change its shape. It always looks like that adorable little thing. But it often noms on Jude's head. She's, I guess you could say she's the little sister. That sounds more right than daughter. She's the little sister, and Tipo is the. I really don't know how to describe him. He's kind of like a pet, but he's just amazing because her magic actually depends on if Tipo is on her back or floating around her. Because Tipo can move on its own. It's a completely sentient being. But depending on that, her magic changes. Each of her spells tell you what having Tipo on or off does, which is on her back or off her back. So that's Tipo for you. He is the comic relief. Alvin is the older brother, kind of sarcastic, but Tipo's the overreacting, hilarious jokester. He's honestly really funny. Little brother, that's what he is. He's the little brother. Though he does get reset later, and then you don't really see a difference after that, and I just don't know what I think about that. So, Elise, she's the awesome, pretty little mage. She's my second favorite character next to this next guy. The badass old man! Rowan J. Obert. Also known as the Conductor. He fights with a conductor staff. Or wand. I'm not joking. Baton, there we go. Oh, conductor's baton. I'm not joking. He literally uses a conductor's baton. And his magic is... It varies depending on each magic, but you can often increase it by pressing a certain button at a certain time, or controlling it such a splash, which creates a giant ball, or not a ball, but a jar above the enemy, pouring water onto them, and then you can move around the field for a limited amount of time. He's actually really awesome. He also has physical magic, which is magic that does physical elements, causes various things like that, and also does physical damage, instead of magical damage, which he does through throwing knives, which honestly makes a really awesome scene. And the fact that he berates guards on their stance and how they're standing and all that together, and once they move together, he throws knives up, and when they arrive, he corrects them into a triangle. They land, the knives land and knock out the guards through this magic, which is really awesome because he managed to predict exactly where they would be. He managed to put them in the exact location where the knives would land. He's just an awesome tactician, basically. That's his thing. He's the tactician. He's a tactician, but he's also the mentor. He's the caring old man who is the mentor to the younger people. They're often just not sure what to do or anything, and he'll offer guidance and help them in that kind of way. He's just the mentor old man. I almost always have him, Elise, and Alvin in my party because they are the awesome. He does a lot of damage if you train him correctly. I guess I'll start with him when it comes. So for character design, I have to give it a 10. These characters are just awesome. Jude and Milan, not so much. But Rowan and Elise, Jude for his progression, I have to give it a 9. I'll give it a 9. I'll be a little stricter. I'll give it a 9. But it is honestly they are really amazing characters. So I'll start with Rowan when it comes to gameplay with him. As I said, you can press various buttons at certain times, or move, or do different things depending on his spells to change the spell, make it more powerful, add extra attacks to it, extend it, do all of that. While also you fight with a conductor's baton, which is also a sword. It's a kind of double thing. You do that, and you use knives in various attacks too. Gameplay is in a 3D ring, kind of like a Mortal Kombat ring. It's a little bit like that, only a little more free flowing, and you can kind of move where you want to go. I'm talking about 3D Mortal Kombat here, people, not 2D, obviously. But you can move in a circle, and you can position yourself and all that. Not that it really makes much of a difference. Your enemy's going to attack who they want to attack, and you can't really get behind some enemies. I've tried. Doesn't work too well. He is he's your mage. He's your black mage, basically. If we look at this in the terms of Final Fantasy, he's your black mage. He is really useful, but if you know what you're going up against, you want to go into your art menu and tell them not to use specific arts. Like if you're going up against an earth enemy, you don't want them to use earth. You want them to use water. Yeah, water and ice. So you eliminate everything but that in the menu which it's self-explanatory how to do that. You just go into the menu, go to him, and if he's AI, you can select. This game is also 4-player co-op. One player controls the map character, and you move around. The extra players come in during the combat. So, Rowan, black mage with a sword, basically. Really awesome. His main, let's see if it actually says here. Saber knives. He uses a saber, but he wields it like a conductor's baton, and it's about the length of one. I thought that he would have something about what his Lilium is. It does not appear to be the case. He's also voiced by one of my favorite voice actors, the voice of Natsu. Go figure, right? I can't remember all the Lilium attributes, but the I'll pull up the thing about the Lilium orb and continue talking. Blah 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 blah. Sorry. Shite. Alright, well, I guess I'll just explain the Lilium orb. The Lilium orb, basically what you do is, it's a spider web. It's a I guess you could compare it to Final Fantasy XIII's Crystallarium. So, it's like that in a way, only you get so many points per level up, and then you spend them on each node, and then you connect, and honestly, my level up strategy, it used to be just get the stuff that sounded cool and then get the gateway node, but now I just get everything and I level up really slowly. But my characters are OP as is because they have the devil arm, which I'll talk about later. Alright, let's go to Elise. Elise and her white/black magic. She uses for the most part, I use her as a white mage. She's often just sitting in the background with Rowan. I link her to Rowan, which is a thing, so that they automatically have various abilities. I'd talk more about that, but that's something that I don't pay much attention to because it happens. Mila locks people down. Jude helps you get back up. Alvin, I can't remember. Leia, I don't know. She, with her, Tipo will occasionally just drain the HP and TP of your enemies. It's really useful, to be completely honest. Here's her with a staff. So, yeah. She uses various magics. Often, she uses void or gravity magic. When or throwing Tipo, or making Tipo super huge and slamming him down into the ground, causing an earthquake, or slamming him into an enemy, crushing him, or doing some weird thing like that. She's rather fun. She honestly, I like her linked up with Rowan because he honestly stays back. He often stays back, so they're sitting there casting magic while I have Jude and whoever else is in my team sitting up front, fighting constantly and tanking basically, and it keeps the enemy distracted. And if they go after them, Rowan's there, and he is melee based as well. He's not just magic; he's melee based, so he's there to protect her as well. So it makes the it works out well for what happens. She playing as her, you want to focus on healing your party. I don't recommend playing as her. I recommend letting the AI play as her, because and setting up the strategy so that she heals you and keeps you above a certain amount. Like if you're going up against the boss, you're going to want to stay certain specific bosses. You're going to want to stay above 50%, or in certain cases with certain bosses, you're going to want to stay above 20 or 75. You don't want to be hit. Basically, if you do, you want her to heal you immediately. But otherwise, you can set her to do what she wants, and she'll often attack the enemies, dealing tons of damage because she often uses magic that they cannot. There's no resistances to. void magic mostly, which is black, or darkness, which only dark enemies are. So if you're going up against dark enemies, lock it out. Just keep her on healing. She's actually really useful. You always want to have her in your party. Because of that. I know this is sounding a bit like a strategy, like, hey, this is what you need to do. But I'm still reviewing, because the gameplay, I'm going over the gameplay and how I did it, and what you should do, and then I'm also talking about the gameplay in itself, and the fact that she is the mage. She's the white mage. Use her for healing. And she's not that complex to play as, but again, it's better to leave her on AI. She's not that good of it's not that good of an idea to play as her, in my opinion. I guess I'm doing I'm reviewing it, but in a way. Leia, what is your connection ability? Because they all have connections which do various things. She can, oh yeah, if you down an enemy, she can steal an item. Helpful. Actually, it is kind of. I've played as her a little bit. She is pretty combo-tastic. She's actually really good in fighting if you play as her. I honestly don't use her that much, so with her, the gameplay for me is just not my playstyle. So, yeah. I'm going over the playstyle of every character. There we go. And then talking about the gameplay itself. Alvin, close range, long range, he don't give a shit. He fucks you up no matter where you are. Same thing with her. He is the fun one to fight as, because you can sit there fight, and if an enemy's about to hit you and break your combo, you can swoop behind them and start beating them up again. That's his special thing, is that he can go around your enemy. Or he can go around the enemy, so you can do a combo, swoop behind the enemy, continue your combo, swoop behind, just keep flipping behind them so that they never know where you are. And they have to keep turning, and you just keep beating the shit out of them. So, that's him. For the most part, the gameplay, whenever you're on the map, you run around. It's standard dungeon crawler controls. X to interact. Triangle to bring up various things. Or the status, the menu. You run into an enemy, it triggers a fight. It's 4-player fights. Or 4-character fights. You can switch to any character at any time, and you can also switch characters out. Like if I have Jude, Mila, Alvin, or Jude, Mila, Alvin, and Elise. Say I don't have Roland yet. We have those 4. I can switch out Alvin for Leia if I wanted to, or something like that. I can do that, or I can switch from playing as Jude, switching to playing as Alvin, or various things. There's also a grade mechanic which allows you to, whenever you start a new game, do New Game Plus, you can start out with an advantage, like keeping all the items you had at the end of your last playthrough, keeping all your money, having 99 slots for items, various things like that. And grade is given to you based on your performance in battle, so the better you perform in battle and the faster you complete your battles, the more grade you get. And the less damage you take, better grade you get to. Bosses often give a lot of grade. What am I missing? Yeah, the combat system's pretty simple. It's linear, but there's also, as I said earlier, you can move in a circle and do all that. There's various buttons you hit. You have your standard attack button, square, I believe, X to guard, circle to do various arts, which you circle, and then the control stick, left stick. This is PS3, by the way. Circle, and then the left stick, and that will tell you, and you set that up, so you get to pick how you, based on your play style, what you want to do with the different arts, and set up various combos and such. What else did I say? What else did I say about the gameplay? There's various items, different types of gels, which do heal you various amount. I mean, if you played Final Fantasy or any sort of game like that, you kind of know how this gameplay is already. Only it's not turn-based, it's real-time, linear. somewhat linear. I can't say linear because it's open. They keep changing it every game. They update it every game, and it's always really great. That's really all I can say about that. This has the mana. This does have a mana system, so you have to be able to afford the spell or physical art, to use it. Yes, even physical arts have mana cost, but that's, I mean, it's all mana. It's just, but if you see the abilities, you'll understand. I'd show you, but I'm not professional enough to show you this stuff. I'm sorry, everyone, but I'm giving you honest review here. Gameplay is actually the best out of all the Tales, in a way, and the fact that you can switch out if a situation starts to go bad and a boss is like able to change its status or its weaknesses. You can switch out characters and make sure you always have the correct strengths against it. So I'd have the gameplay gets a 10. I don't know what else. Level designs. Each area is extremely unique. You are on a planet. It is luscious. Your first planet, it's luscious. It's just beautiful landscape. A lot of work was put into this game. It is honestly a really amazing game. Voice acting, I guess, isn't that great. I mean, it has Todd Haberkorn. Todd Haberkorn. I said his name wrong, didn't I? I mean, it has good voice actors. It is pretty well. No, that's right, Todd Haberkorn. It has very good. I mean, it's just the voice acting is actually pretty good, considering it's a dub, and most people don't like dubs. Still not as good as Symphonia's, but that's just me. I'm weird. Get over it. Zealous. Sorry, I see you on the side. Really, all I can say is the level design. I'm not going to show you any examples simply because you don't need to. I mean, you can see from the art of the game and the characters, or you can see from the characters that the art is at a interesting style. It's always in that kind of style. As you can see on the side, you can kind of see what it looks like, the various different games. Though those are 3 different games on the side: Xillia, Symphonia, and Radiant Mythology. Those are different games. World of Radiant Mythology, whatever. And it's similar style, but it's always just so beautiful. And in this one, it's updated to high quality. It looks beautiful. That's all I can say. I would love to play this game and record it and show you guys the game from the beginning to the end, both playthroughs, every cinema and all that, but I can't. I don't have a capture card. So you guys can actually look at people playing this yourselves, look and see the actual appearance of the game itself. I do not know how much it is at the moment. I believe it is $20 to $30 at the moment. I don't quote me on that. I don't know, okay? I didn't do the research to see how much it is. It is definitely worth whatever it costs though right now. I believe it is in the $30 range, $20 to $30 range. I could be wrong. It could be more. It's not less, I know that. But it is definitely worth the money. It is a compelling story. You're going to love the characters. Overall, I give this game a 9. Easily. This game is awesome. I just love this game. You guys, I mean, it is worth whatever you pay for it because, I mean, you get replayability. You can, I mean, it's the same story over and over. There's various side quests you can do. It's basically the system of, hey, this weapon's better than that weapon, just switch it out and all that. But you can always build different styles of character. Like with me, the first time I played it, I just built my character based on what I wanted them to be. And often I focused on vitality and strength for Jude and Alvin, while I focused on magic for the magic stuff for Rowan and Elise, and often I didn't really use anything else. That was about all I used. There's one other thing I forgot to mention that I love. If you don't have to eat in this game. That is not a requirement. Your characters are going to suffer some health penalty or something like that. But if you go so long without eating, the characters will comment. They'll say, "It's been a while since we eat. Are we going to eat anytime soon?" It's like, and they pop up various little comments whenever your character is taught. So if you if you don't level up a character or don't use a character, they'll complain saying, "Hey, I want to fight." Or if you don't feed them, they'll start complaining, and it honestly gets really funny. So sometimes you don't want to do it because it gets funny, but I mean the game, and then there's the skits, which are often interactions between, which are not often, they are interactions between the characters, and they're often hilarious because it's hard to explain because they're funny due to the way the characters act among each other. They are like a family, and it's just hilarious how they do it. But in this one, I believe they actually have the full body movement system in the skits, so you actually get the skit screen, but you get to see them moving and reacting as you would in a cinema almost. Not quite. It's still not the same, but it's similar. I mean, they have the emotions. They pose more. They're more like paper cutouts that pose and all that, but they do react to what other characters say on a dime, which they've always done, but they do it in a more dynamic manner in this one. And the skits give you more background on the characters, and it's just like awesome. It's just amazing how they do this. It is honestly worth whatever it costs. I went and got it when it was like $30 or something like that. I don't actually remember how much I paid for it. But I did not regret it. I did not. Alright, well, that is it for this episode. As far as I can tell, that's it for this episode. If I left anything out, I'm sorry. Yell at me in the comments. I'm sorry. I just love this game. But, like I said, leave a like, if I left anything out that you wanted me to address, put it in the comments. I'll say something about it in the description or something, or I'll make a second video expanding. I'm trying to think of like, subscribe, comment. Just do whatever you want. I don't care. I do this for your enjoyment. So if you like it, love it. I don't care. I'm trying to think if I'm leaving anything out of my outro or this, but I mean, yeah. Go get this game for yourself. Try it out. Look it up. Just watch like the intro. Just watch the intro sequence. That is the anime style of it is really beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful game. It's worth whatever you pay. And that is my opinion. That is all I have to say about this game. I am done. This is Wolfie. I'll see you guys later. I'll see you guys later. Das vidanya!